80% of restaurant owners find themselves living in a place that I call the Valley of Mediocrity. Now, it's just not a location, it's a state of being, a mental, emotional, and physical purgatory where stress, anxiety, burnout, and frustration dominate your life. I'm not talking about having an occasional rough patch in business. I'm talking about a deep, unshakable stuckness that becomes your everyday reality. In this valley, everything feels like a grind. Every day, you wake up exhausted, barely able to drag yourself out of bed because the weight of everything on your shoulders is just too much to bear. You're already thinking about all the fires you need to put out before breakfast. You're checking your emails, your sales reports, your bank account balance. Nothing ever feels like it's enough. And the stress, it's relentless. You can't escape it, not for a minute. So let's get real. You're anxious. Deep down, you know something's wrong. You feel like you're constantly walking a tightrope between keeping the restaurant afloat and watching everything you've built collapse into an instant. Anxiety builds every time you look at your numbers, every time a guest complains, every time your vendors call asking where your checks are. You lie awake at night wondering, when is the other shoe going to drop? You question every decision, second guessing whether you're running things the way you should. Now that anxiety eventually morphs into burnout. You're running on empty. The passion that you once had for the business has been extinguished by the never-ending grind of just trying to keep your restaurant alive. You used to dream of opening more locations, creating new concepts, and having freedom, but now you're just trying to survive the day-to-day. You keep pushing through. You're too stubborn to quit, but let's be real. You're not living, you're just surviving. But it doesn't end there. The weight of your business failure starts to seep into every other area of your life. Frustration builds because no matter how hard you work, it never seems to be enough. Guilt eats away at you because you've neglected your family, your health, and your happiness, all in the name of chasing that elusive dream of success. Shame follows close behind. Shame for the mistakes you've made. Shame for not being able to provide more for your family. Shame because you feel like you've lost yourself somewhere along the way. And then resentment sets in. You start resenting the restaurant for trapping you in this miserable cycle. You resent your staff because they don't seem to care as much as you do. You resent your guests for being so damn demanding. You resent your own family for not understanding what you're going through. And worst of all, you resent yourself for not being the person you thought you would be by now. Now, all of that builds into one thing: rage. A deep, simmering rage that bubbles just beneath the surface. Now, maybe you don't show it to the world, but it's in there. It's inside, always threatening to boil over. You snap at your staff. You argue with your spouse. You alienate your kids. You don't even know why sometimes, but everything just feels like it's too much to handle. And that rage becomes your outlet for releasing all the pent-up frustration, disappointment, and hurt. Your body reflects all of this. I mean, look in the mirror. What do you see? You're out of shape, overweight, your muscles are weak, your energy is depleted. You've let yourself go because you're too busy putting out fires in the restaurant to take care of yourself. You skip workouts, grab fast food on the way home, and rely on coffee to keep you going. Maybe you're dealing with chronic pain. Your back hurts, your knees ache, your body feels old and broken down. And it's just not your body that's suffering. Your soul feels distant from every source of strength. Maybe you once had a strong connection with God, but now you feel lost and disconnected. You're not spending time in prayer or reflection because you're too busy just trying to keep your head above water. Your relationship with your higher power, your source, feels severed. You're out there in this valley of mediocrity alone, trying to navigate this mess you found yourself in without any real guidance or support. Your relationships, they're hanging on by a thread, if they're still there at all. And then let's talk about your marriage. I mean, be honest with yourself. When was the last time you felt truly connected to your spouse? And I'm not talking about just the day-to-day, how was your day stuff. I mean the real connection, emotion, physical, and spiritual. The flame that once burned between the two of you, it's been snuffed out, and now you're just going through the motions. Intimacy, that's practically non-existent. You're like two strangers living in the same house. You want to reignite the fire, but it feels like an impossible task. There's just too much resentment, too many hurt feelings, too much distance. Instead of dealing with the pain of that disconnection, you sedate. You numb yourself because the pain of not being desired, of not being connected, is just too much to bear. You turn to alcohol. Maybe a glass of wine turns into a bottle. Maybe a couple of beers after work becomes sick. You pop pills to take the edge off. Maybe you've even dabbled into hardcore drugs. Anything to escape the reality that your marriage is crumbling. And then there's porn. I mean, you tell yourself it's harmless. I mean, everyone does it, right? But deep down, you know it's just another escape. It's just another way to avoid facing the truth that your life, your marriage, and your restaurant are spiraling out of control. It's not just your marriage that's suffering. Your kids barely know you anymore. You're so consumed with the restaurant that you've missed out on their lives. You know more about what they're doing by stalking their social media than actually having a conversation with them. The distance between you and your children is painful, but you don't know how to bridge a gap. Now, let's talk about your business. Now, you thought owning a restaurant would bring you freedom, success, and financial security, but instead, it's been a roller coaster from hell. I mean, 1 month, you're celebrating because sales are up and the bank account is finally in the black. And you start to think maybe, just maybe, you've turned a corner. But then, the next month, everything falls apart. Sales tank, you're scrambling to make the payroll, you're shuffling checks around, hoping that the vendors don't cash them all at once because you don't have the money to cover it. The chaos, you're drowning in it. You're stuck in the valley of mediocrity, and the worst part, you don't see a way out. You've resigned yourself to this life of stress, burnout, and constant struggle because it's all you've ever known. You've forgotten what it feels like to dream, to hope, to believe that things could be better. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be that way. Now, let's contrast that with the summit of success, where only 5% of restaurant owners live. Up here, it's an entirely different reality. It's a world that feels almost impossible when you're stuck in the valley. But I'm here to tell you, it's not only possible, it is within reach. At the summit, your restaurant isn't just surviving, it's thriving. Your restaurant is a money machine, cranking out profits at 18% or higher. You're not just getting by, you are killing it. You're no longer living paycheck to paycheck, scrambling to make ends meet. Your finances are solid, and the stress of wondering how you're gonna cover payroll next week, that's a distant memory. And here's the kicker. You work at the restaurant because you want to, not because you have to. I mean, let that sink in. You've built a team that runs everything to your standards so you can step away without worrying about things are gonna fall apart. You have systems in place, your staff is trained and empowered, and they care about the success of your restaurant just as much as you do. When you're at the restaurant, it's because you wanna be, because you enjoy it, not because you're putting out fires every day. Your body, it's in peak condition. You're lean, strong, and full of energy. You've taken control of your health, and it shows. You're not dragging yourself through the day, surviving on coffee and adrenaline. You wake up feeling energized, ready to take on whatever challenges come your way. Your body isn't broken down, it's a machine. And your marriage at the summit of success, your marriage is pure fire. The connection you once had has been reignited and it's burning stronger than ever. You've rekindled the passion, the intimacy, and the trust that has been lost in the grind of running your restaurant. Now, instead of being ships passing in the night, you and your spouse are deeply connected on every level, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. You're just not partners in life, you're partners in every sense, pushing each other to be better, stronger, and more fulfilled. Your relationship is no longer a casualty of your business. It is a source of strength and support. You want to be with your spouse and they want to be with you. You're no longer numbing the pain of disconnection with alcohol, drugs, or porn. Those crutches are gone because you don't need them anymore. You've dealt with the root of the problem, and now you're reaping the rewards of a marriage that's truly on fire with love and connection. The walls that stood between you are down, and now you are free to love and be loved. And your kids, they don't just see you as a stressed out, absent parent who's always been way too busy to be involved in their lives. Now, they look up to you, they admire you, and you're not just their parent. Now you're their role model, the person they want to become when they grow up. You've gone from being a distant figure in their lives to being someone they respect and look up to, someone they can rely on. You're involved, you're present, you're making up for lost time by building a deep, meaningful relationship with them. But it's not just about the relationships and personal growth. At the summit of success, you have created a business that works for you, not the other way around. Your restaurant is a well-oiled machine and it's consistently delivering profits. You're not just riding the roller coaster of high and lows anymore. Instead, you've built a system, processes, and a team that runs the restaurant with precision and consistency. The chaos that once defined your day has been replaced by order. Your sales are predictable, your costs are under control, and your profits are steady and growing. You're no longer panicking about making payroll or juggling vendor payments. Your cash flow is strong, your bank account is growing, and you have the financial freedom to make decisions that benefit your life, not just your business. You've built a team of A players who are just as invested in the success of your restaurant as you are. They take ownership of their roles. They care about the guest experience, and they execute your vision flawlessly. When you step away from a restaurant, whether it's for a vacation, a personal day, or just because you want to, you can trust that everything will continue to run smoothly in your absence. You're no longer a slave to your business. You've earned the freedom to live life on your terms, to do what you love, spending time with the people who matter most, and taking care of your health, your happiness, and your legacy. You're free to create, to dream, to plan your future without the constant pressure and anxiety that used to dominate your life. Now, let's talk about the journey from the valley of mediocrity to the summit of success. Now, it's not easy, and it's not a straight path. It requires a complete mindset shift, a radical change in how you approach your business and your life. But I promise you this, it is possible. First, you need to recognize that the valley of mediocrity is not your fate. Just because 80% of restaurant owners are stuck there doesn't mean that you have to be. The valley is a choice, and so is the summit. But to get out of the valley, you have to stop doing what you've always done. The habits, the patterns, the beliefs that got you here won't get you to where you want to be. So the first step is accepting responsibility. You are where you are because of decisions you've made, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's easy to blame external factors, your staff, the economy, your competition. But the truth is, the only person responsible for your success or failure is you. And you have to own that. You have to face the uncomfortable reality that you've created this situation and only you can change it. Next, you need to embrace a growth mindset. The valley of mediocrity is filled with fixed mindsets. People who believe that they can't change, who think that they've reached their limit, who are stuck in the belief that success is for other people, not for them. To climb to the summit, you need to believe that you can learn, you can grow, you can improve every day. You need to commit to constant, never-ending improvement, both in your business and also in yourself. Part of that growth is being willing to get uncomfortable. Success doesn't come from doing what's easy. It comes from pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone, from doing the hard things that most people won't do. It's about embracing the discomfort of change, of learning new skills, of letting go of old habits that no longer serve you. It's about sacrificing the things that are holding you back, whether it's toxic relationships, the bad habits, or limiting beliefs that are keeping you stuck. And you also need to surround yourself with the right people. In the valley of mediocrity, you're surrounded by people who are just as stuck as you are. They complain, they make excuses, they settle for less than they deserve. But at the summit of success, you're surrounded by winners. You're surrounded by people who challenge you to be better, who push you to grow, who hold you accountable to your goals. You need a tribe of high achievers who are on the same journey as you, who will not let you settle for mediocrity. How do you get there? What's the roadmap to climb out of the valley and reach the summit? Let me break it down to you in a few key steps. Number one, rebuild your mindset and identity. The climb to the summit starts in your mind. You have to rebuild your identity, starting with how you see yourself. You're not just a struggling restaurant owner. You are a warrior, a leader, someone who is committed to greatness. You need to start thinking, acting, and making decisions like the restaurant owner who's already at the summit. Every day, you need to ask yourself, what would the owner at the top of the mountain do? How would they think? What actions would they take? And then you need to become that person, one decision at a time. Number two, gotta get clear on your vision. If you don't know where you're going, you're gonna stay stuck. You need to get crystal clear in your vision for your restaurant and your life. What does success look like for you? How much profit do you want your restaurant to make? How do you want your team to operate? What kind of life do you want to live outside of the restaurant? I mean, clarity is power. Once you know what you want, then you can reverse engineer the steps to get there. And then 3, build systems that scale. Your restaurant can't reach the summit without systems that support growth. The chaos you're experiencing in the valley comes from lack of systems. You're running everything on the fly, putting out fires as they arise. Now at the summit, everything is systemized. You have processes for training, hiring, managing costs, and delivering an exceptional guest experience. And when you build systems that scale, your business becomes predictable, consistent, and profitable. And number 4, create a team of A players. You cannot reach the summit alone. You need a team of A players who are committed to the vision and success of the restaurant. That means hiring the right people, training them thoroughly, and empowering them to take ownership of their roles. You need to build a culture of accountability where your team is not just invested in the success of the restaurant as you are, but they are bought into it 100%. 5, master financial discipline. One of the biggest reasons restaurant owners stay stuck in the valley is because they lack financial discipline. At the summit, you've mastered your finances. You know your numbers inside and out, tracking your sales, your cost, your labor, your profit margins with precision. You're making data-driven decisions and you're maximizing profitability every single day. 6, you gotta prioritize your health and relationships. Success isn't about just money. It's about having the energy, vitality, and relationships that actually make life worth living. At the summit, you've taken control of your health. You're working out, eating right, taking care of your body so you can perform at your best. You've also rebuilt your relationships with your spouse, your kids, and your higher power. You're living a balanced life where success doesn't just come at the cost of your personal happiness. So here's the bottom line. You don't have to stay in the valley of mediocrity. You don't have to accept a life of stress, anxiety, and burnout and frustration. You do not have to settle for a marriage that's falling apart, kids who barely know you, or a business that's always on the brink of disaster. The summit of success is within your reach, but it won't come to you. You have to decide that you're done with mediocrity. You have to commit to the climb. Now here's the thing, the climb is hard. It's uncomfortable. It's going to push you to your limits. But here's the truth. The pain of staying in the valley is far worse than the pain of the climb. Every day you stay stuck, you're sacrificing your potential. You're sacrificing your happiness, your relationships, and your health. You're missing out on the life that you were meant to live, the life that you've always dreamed of but never thought was possible. Now, the summit isn't reserved for the chosen few. It's not just for those born with some special advantage or a golden ticket to success. The summit is for those who are willing to do the work, who are willing to take ownership of their situation and make the changes necessary to rise above mediocrity. So what's it gonna be? Are you gonna stay stuck in the valley, living with stress, anxiety, and burnout? Or are you gonna rise up and climb to the summit where your restaurant runs like a well-oiled machine, your profits are soaring, your relationships are thriving, and your life is on fire with purpose and passion? The choice is yours. Let me be clear. You don't have to make this climb alone. Now here's where I come in. I've spent my entire career helping restaurant owners like you break free from the valley to reach the summit of success. I know the pain you're going through because I've been there myself. I've lived the stress, the sleepless nights, the financial panic, the broken relationships, and I figured out how to rise above it all. I've created a proven path to help restaurant owners not only survive, but to thrive. It's called the Warrior Restaurants Conquest Path. And it's designed to take you from the pit of mediocrity to the peak of success. Now, this path isn't just about improving your restaurant. It's about transforming every aspect of your life. And here's how it works. Number 1, phase 1, the profit rocket. Now, if your profits are below 5%, you start here. The profit rocket is about stripping away everything that's holding you back and rebuilding your business from the ground up. It's about getting crystal clear on your vision, building the right systems, and creating the discipline that you need to operate at a high level. This is where you learn to stop reacting and start proactively running your restaurant. Phase 2, the profit accelerator. If your profits are between 5 and 10%, you enter the accelerator. This is where you go from just getting by to mastering the fundamentals that are going to set you apart from the competition. You're gonna learn how to lead your team effectively, create a culture of accountability, and drive consistent results in every area of your restaurant. It's time to stop putting out fires and start creating a business that runs on your terms. Phase 3, restaurant builder. If your profits are between 10 to 12%, you're ready for the next level. In this phase, we take everything you've built and we optimize it for maximum profitability. You're gonna learn advanced strategies for increasing revenue, reducing costs, and scaling your business without sacrificing quality or your sanity. You're gonna become a master of financial discipline and your profits will reflect it. In phase 4, Restaurant Owner Academy. This is for those who are ready to dominate. The Restaurant Owner Academy is a 12-month private program designed to take your restaurant and your life to the top where those 5% of performers live. This is where you not only build a wildly successful restaurant, but you actually create a life of total freedom. You're gonna learn how to master your body, your mind, your relationships, and your wealth. You'll receive personalized coaching, site visits, and access to a network of elite restaurant owners who are committed to the same level of success. Now, no matter where you are in your journey, the Warrior Restaurants Conquest Path will take you to the next level. This isn't just about learning a few tips or tricks. It's about transforming your mindset, your business, and your life. Now, you've probably heard the promises before. This program will change your life. Follow these steps and you'll be successful. But here's the thing. Most of these programs are surface level. They focus on tactics without addressing the real problems that are keeping you stuck. That's why most restaurant owners never make it out of the valley of mediocrity. They spend years chasing the next shiny object, the latest marketing trend, the newest software tool, but they never get to do the deep work that actually makes lasting change. The Warrior Restaurants Conquest Path is different because it goes beyond the surface. We don't just teach you what to do, we teach you how to think. We deep dive into the mindset, habits, and the systems that are essential for success. We help you rebuild your identity as a leader, as a business owner, as a warrior. Now, this path is holistic. We don't just focus on your restaurant, we focus on every aspect of your life, your health, your relationship, your mindset. Because here's the truth, if you're not taking care of yourself, if your relationships are falling apart, if you're not aligned with your higher purpose, then your business will never ever thrive. The summit of success is waiting for you. It's not a fantasy. It's not a dream reserved for someone else. It's real and it is achievable, but you have to be willing to make the climb. Now, you can choose to stay in the valley of mediocrity. You can keep living with stress, burnout, financial struggle, and broken relationships. You can keep sedating the pain with alcohol, pills, and porn. You can keep wondering if this is all there is, if this is the life that you were meant to live, or you can choose to rise. You can choose to break free from the chains that are holding you back. You can choose to build a business that works for you and not the other way around. You can choose to create a life of freedom, fulfillment, and purpose. The first step is simple. Head over to therestaurantcoach.com. Book a complimentary one-on-one strategy session with me personally. We're gonna dive deep into where you are now, where do you wanna go, and how can we get you there? This isn't a sales call, it's a chance for us to connect, for me to understand your unique challenges, and for us to put together a roadmap for your climb to the summit. But let me be clear, this isn't for everyone. If you're looking for a quick fix, a magic bullet, or for an easy way out, this isn't for you. The climb to the summit requires commitment, discipline, and a willingness to get uncomfortable. It requires you to face the truth about where you are now and make the necessary changes to get where you want to go. But here's the thing, if you're ready, truly ready to leave the valley behind and take control of your life, your business, and your future, then I want to work with you. The summit is waiting. Are you ready to make the climb? Your future is now. Every day you spend in the valley is just another day you're missing out on the life that you were meant to live. It's another day of stress, anxiety, burnout, broken relationships. Another day you're watching your business struggle, your health decline, and your happiness slip further away. But it doesn't have to be that way. You have the power to change your life right now. You have the power to break free from mediocrity, to reclaim your health, your relationships, your business. You have the power to reach a summit and experience the freedom, fulfillment, and success that comes with living a life on your terms. The question is, will you take the first step? The valley or the summit? The choice is yours. Head over to therestaurantcoach.com, book your strategy session today. Are you ready to climb out of the valley of mediocrity?